Hi, I'm Mary, a librarian turned book reviewer with a focus on stories written for kids, tweens, and teens. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about this book called Feather Frost. It's the final book in the Dryad Seed series by Casey Simos. This story takes place about 5 years after the first book in the series ends, that's Kindled Embers, and Eliza, the protagonist, is now 17 years old. She has started to come into her own. She's going to school in the capital, she's learning lots of new things, and she's becoming a lot more independent. Now, her childhood companions, including Prince Anders, are all growing up as well, and he has just come home from a mountaineering adventure where something a little bit dangerous happened to him. And when he gets home, he is suddenly whisked away out of the palace by an unknown entity, and it's up to Eliza to go find him. So while everyone else is looking for him, she follows a hunch that's a little bit unconventional, and in so doing goes on a new adventure with someone that you know from the first story but don't get to know too well until this one. So this story really it connects a lot of the pieces from the other stories in this series. It is designed to stand alone, but it really goes well with the others. So moments that are important are discussed in the story, so events that happened in the other book are included. So in case you haven't read it, it's okay. You can get into this one anyway. It does stand on its own. It has a really nice tied up ending as well. But this story goes into a little bit more of the paranormal, a little bit more of the fairy tale element, and there are some connections to classic fairy tales like The Emperor's New Clothes in this one as well. So older readers are going to find some appeal in here, not only in the plot itself, but in its connections to classic literature. And even though this is about Eliza, who's 17, so it's got some more mature content as far as a little bit more peril, a little bit more romance. It's still written with the family in mind. So it appeals to younger readers as well as older ones, as long as they have the maturity to handle the level of peril that happens in this book. So as you can see, it's not super long. I did actually get through this in about one sitting. That's primarily because of the great writing and the connection to the empathetic characters. So as you're going through, you notice that the text is not super huge, but because of the way that it's written and because you really want to know what happens next, it flies really, really quickly. And you'll find that there's a lot of fairy tales that kind of come to life in this book as well. So it's a really great fit for fans of the Hans Christian Andersen canon and fairy tales in general, especially for those who like empathetic characters, character-driven and action-driven plots, especially as characters are coming into their own with a touch of romance. If this sounds like a great fit for you, I hope you'll look for it at your favorite bookstore.